On the day of gone by New Year's Eve special ending 2024, we're happy to have another guest who was on this program just this past year, a few months ago, when he was talking about the play, the solo play that he wrote called The Rosenbergs, The Strange Fruit Project. And first of all, I want to know how that went. Was that at Theater for the New City? And how
Yeah,
did it go?
it was at 59 East
Oh,
59th.
59, I'm sorry, 59 is 59, excuse me. Yeah.
A wonderful place to work. And we sold out our run and were extended and played all summer, essentially, a tale that seemed to resonate with a lot of New Yorkers in particular. To refresh your memory, I played about every role in the play, about 10 different characters, but primarily a 6-year-old boy, the youngest child of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, who, after the public execution of their parents for espionage in the early 50s, was adopted by the man who wrote the song Strange Fruit, seared into our consciousness by Billie Holiday. So suddenly, my mind was like a pinball machine when I learned this little factoid, and I thought, I can do something with this. So, in short, I played all the parts, the boy, his mother, Billie Holiday, the judge, the rabbi. So it was either an egomaniacal disaster or a tour de force. But
Well, it
let
was
the
extended and sold out. So I'm
yes,
guessing closer to
the
Tour de Force. Yeah.
audience seemed to like it, and it was I was on stage with a magnificent clarinet player. The clarinet being the unifying sound between blacks and Jews, which is the subject of the play, essentially. Klezmer and jazz united by the licorice stick
Right.
sound. It was
See, if they were Italian, Jews and Italians, they would be united by complaining. But since it's Jews and blacks, it's the clarinet. It's the sound of that
yes,
instead.
yeah,
Now, can I
yeah.
ask you, John, since the run went so well, are you going to be doing it anywhere else in 25 or bring it back to New York or what's the
Well,
deal?
that's an interesting question. I think it's going to tour. It's a one-person show is very portable.
Hmm.
And even if you're playing 8 or 10 different characters, you whip on a scarf or a hat or stick a pipe in your mouth and so it can all be put into a small suitcase. And an intriguing idea has been floated about this tour because my own daughter has said to me during the run of the show, Dad, you can't play black people. In this political climate, you're not allowed to do that. Of course, that runs contrary to the training of all actors who are told everything is within you.
Right.
So I had to resist this argument of my daughter's. But when the show goes on tour, it has occurred to us, why shouldn't all 10 roles be played by, for example, a young black actress?
Oh, so you
Why,
wouldn't
why
be
can't
the
you-
touring with it. It wouldn't be you acting in the tour.
I don't think I have to do it.
Hmm.
Uh, Again, why can't a young black actress play an old rabbi and a 6-year-old Jewish boy? If we're true to the principle of the whole thing that anybody can do everything,
Right. Yeah.
it was really something I learned. The very first play I was ever in as a teenager, late, I was 20 years old. It was by Jean-Claude Van Italy. I don't know if you know that name. He was
I've
an
heard.
avant-garde playwright of our youth. It was called I Am Really Here. It was a very strange play in which everybody played 20 different parts. And one of the parts I had to play was Mussolini. So at a certain point, I went to the director and I said, listen, I think you've made a casting error. I'm not the Mussolini type. Ask any of my friends, gentle John over here. So he sat me down, literally sat me down, and he said, now listen, you want to be an actor, right? And I said, well, yeah. He said, okay, now look, somewhere within you is a bully and a tyrant who wants to push everybody around, who thinks he's always right, and who is capable of violence and even murder. Now you find that part of yourself because I promise you it's in there. And like a sculptor, chip away everything else except that. And that is what you play. And that frankly, I think that's the Bible of actors. It's stuck with me ever since.
And actually, after the run of that show, you killed a couple of people in real life. It was, it stayed with you until you were able to fully let it go. That's,
Exactly. In order to fully inhabit the character, I
yeah.
did have to commit murder. No, just kidding. But back to the point. So why can't a young black woman play an old rabbi and a 6-year-old kid or for that matter, an old Asian man play a young black woman. And
I mean, you
so,
know Anna Devere Smith. You've seen Fires in the Mirror. You've
oh my
seen
goodness, yes, absolutely.
she was playing a rabbi in that show, in Crown Heights. So
She
yeah,
absolutely was. She played an old Asian man who ran a laundry in San Francisco.
yeah,
But of course, when I trot out the Anna Devere Smith example to my daughter, she says, "Well, Dad, that's different." And I say, "Stella, that's her name. How is it different?" And she says, "Well, because um, you are the oppressor and she is the oppressed. So, oy."
right.
So I get her point. She's an idealistic young woman. And if I trouble to think back to my own youth, I was incredibly judgmental at the time. I felt that everybody who wasn't actively in the streets participating in the Vietnam War every day of their lives should be shot. That's how judgmental I was. So the
You were
young,
a little Mussolini back then too. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
yeah, the young can be rigid, is the point. So anyway, but to make a long story short, yes, a tour is contemplated. And if I don't have to do it, that would be wonderful because I've got a lot of other projects that I really
That
should
would be
more.
the last question for you, John Jiler, is what else can you talk about that you're working on for the upcoming year?
Well, I just unveiled my newest play and did it at the Labyrinth Theater here in New York and at the Actors Studio called Malt Point. It's about sexual obsession, which is arguably another of my, specialties. Um, and then I'm also working on a screenplay, a commissioned screenplay. So, and which is a whole new learning curve for me. As a man of the theater,
Yeah.
suddenly you learn what film is like. Instead of writing you a one-page monologue, I do a close-up of your face for 10 seconds and accomplish the same thing, maybe more. So, it's a
The
steep.
screenplay is just like AI do it. AI will do let AI do the work.
Yes.
Anywho, no, we're still real people here, and that is really John Jiler with us. So first of all, congratulations on the success of the Rosenberg's Strange Fruit project. We certainly hope that it does tour with whomever, and
Yeah.
certainly success on your new play and your screenplays and everything else that you're doing in 2025. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dave.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye bye.